200 and something k's later tomorrow, and we're going to be deep in the Flinders. And I cannot wait. Season 1. Well, here we are at Port Germain, about 25 k's north of Port Pirie. Obviously we're at low tide. It goes out here a bit, but we'll go to the start of this ferry. I think it's 700 metres long. It was the longest, sorry I say ferry, pier, the longest pier in the Southern Hemisphere up until some time ago when somewhere else built one bigger, obviously, but we're just walking out this little tongue of stone here now. And it's weird, there's a tractor out here. It looks like sand. It's all sand on the base of the bottom of the ocean there, the bottom of the bay, but interesting. I wonder why this tractor's out here. Not as many seagulls as I thought. Maybe because there's not as many fish and chip shops here, but that train track that was back there at the goods shed, that would have ran out here along this to get goods and produce and that off boats. I'll have to read some signs, I'm not quite sure why. If it was to, because you got Adelaide, Port Adelaide down south, so yeah. The sun's probably going to be no good for this, so I'll say no diving, jumping, dogs on leash, no fires, no camping, no bikes, no motorbikes, no discharge of offal blood or offensive material into the sea. So I wonder if that means people come out here looking for sharks. But yeah, you won't be able to see this on the camera at all, but Port Pirie, the big smokestack for that mill, industrial area or whatever it is down there. But I'm not walking 700 metres out to that. Not this morning anyway. So we'll go back to the car, and I think it's a job for the drone. We'll get an eye what that tractor's doing out there too. So yeah, nice little stop on the way. I might try and get a coffee. I haven't had a cappuccino since I left work. Sleepy little town. There's a caravan park right across from the dock. Pubs there. I've pulled over in front of the cop shop. I thought, what better place to park your car safely in front of a cop shop, even though it doesn't look that used. The police sign's new on it anyway, so maybe they respect tourists here, we'll see. I know locals don't in many places. But anyway, I'm going to turn this off before I start getting too puffed and get back to civilization where I look like an idiot. We'll get the drone up, have a look from the sky, and then we'll keep on heading north. Next stop, Port Augusta. So we got our morning fuel stop at Port Augusta. You know you're in trouble when you come into a town. The first thing you see is the prison. Interestingly too, in Port Germain, just how many houses have real high fences around them, which is probably not a good sign either. But we're on the Flinders Highway, no, the Gorn to Hawker Road. We've come down through a bit of a gorge into Corn, and now heading north. We're about 50 k's out of Hawker. But we've left the gorge and the mountains behind, and we're just out in this vast plain now between ranges. It just reminds me of outback New South Wales. It looks exactly the same, as just as mountains and not flat ground like the vast plains that we see out there. Well, interestingly enough, from Renmark across to here, not having a headwind like we did the previous day coming from Mildura, we got our fuel usage down to about 15.8 litres to the 100, I think it was, which cruising along, doing 2 grand, 103 k's. Even I'm surprised a lot of these roads, or all these roads, are signposted as 110. Even between Hawker and Port Augusta, where it's narrow little road through a gorge, there's a couple of 80k sections where you've got to cross train lines and that, but I wish some of the roads at home were 110. Make getting places a lot quicker, but it's just so sparse. We're turn this around. I don't know how we're going to go here, but we are getting closer to mountains again. Some looking pretty steep, like that point in front of us. But we'll keep on going up here. We're going to get our last fuel in Hawker. I threw 20 litres in the jerry can on the A-frame of the van too while we're in Port Augusta, just as a backup. We shouldn't need it, but it just means when we fill up in Hawker, where the fuel's a bit dearer, we're only going to be getting, I think we're going to get about 20 litres to top the fuel tank up, and that'll do us. So, and then after that, we've got probably 100 k's to where we. 120 k's till we get to Brackena and turn right into the Flinders. What's this Kenworth? Old tipper. Anyway, we'll keep on progressing north as we continue along this flat section of road. Oh, first cappuccino since I got out of the truck last Thursday. I don't even know, it was Tuesday or Wednesday today. Don't know. Here at Hawker, 24-hour BP here in town. Fuel truck just pulled in as I finished getting fuel, which was lucky. Got a coffee. Had a couple of touring bikes come up behind me. They're going north as well. And yeah, seems to be right here, but back at that dead rock, the flies were starting to carry me away. So, we are in the desert after all.
Are you down at the supermarket, Dee?
There's a supermarket. But anyway, have this coffee, and we've got 70 k's to the Brackena Gorge turn off. I've had the caravan brakes unplugged all morning, and for the most part it looked like that tyre wasn't getting hot. Now it's hot. When I just pulled away from the Bowser there, it was squealing a little bit. So, I know, so I have got bearings for sale on the wall, whether the right size is there. I don't even know what size JK use. We got full phone reception, so 70k up, 10, 30, and then 70 back. So it's only about 150k's off road, off tar, on the bit of a loop we're going to be staying on, and then back here anyway. So it should be right for that. What I'll do when we get up there, I'll have some time to kill the Savo, or maybe I might do it first thing in the morning. Jack that wheel up and just go back one more turn on the lock nut. See how that goes. That bearing shouldn't be hot, but anyway, we'll have this coffee and we'll get going up the highway a little bit more. Campsite 3, we'll go for a little bit of a walk. There's already people over in the next. Campsite 4 is free, there's someone in campsite 5. They're here, I knew they'd be here. But I reckon the pick of the two, so 1 and 2 here you got to share, turn you around so you can see. 1 and 2 you got to share this campfire in the middle. So that's campsite 1 over there, and then campsite 2 is here. But I reckon view-wise, campsite 2, it's going to be hard to see because the sun's up there, but that big mountain range there is a big cave that's been washed into the rock over there. We'll go and have a look at that later. You will get afternoon shade here on this one because you actually got some decent trees beside you, and they all have the fire pits. But that's Brackena Creek runs down through Brackena Gorge, and it'd be interesting to see this joint during winter because there must be some water through there. And I've just noticed something. If I come back here, oh sorry, you're looking down. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to zoom in here or not, but there's people on top of that peak. There must be a walking track up to there. But yeah, anyway, Brackena Creek, and goes back down to the gorge where we come in. So we're surrounded by some good mountains here. Some more up there, nice big one up behind us. I'll get the camera out for better zoom to get some photos of it, but many people do. I'm not going to put the drone up. It's illegal. You may as well show yourself speed. People still do it anyway. But I'll turn around here to our camp. So campsite 3. You want to be able to back in. I've had to go all the way back, which means I'm not going to be able to set the shower up tonight. But that's alright. It's not that cold anyway. Or not that hot and stinky anyway. But campsite, campfire. Got to bring all your own wood into the park anyway. And we'll just set up here with our back to the sun as it sets. And so yeah, there's no way I'd be able to set my shower awning up out the back. I didn't even think about that until I parked and set up. So anyway, there's a fair bit of traffic on this Brackena Gorge track too. Ranger drivers thinking they've got soft suspension so they can go faster than everyone else, covering everyone rocks. But that's our view as we sit here and enjoy a beer. Not bad at all. Definitely glad we pushed on and got here. I was umming and ahhing so much, even as far as Port Pirie. I was just going to go there because that's the furthest. Well, technically Port Augusta's the furthest west I've ever been. So new PB there, but yeah, ummed and ahed, just kept driving until now we're finally here. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy a beer. I'm going to get the camera out and see if we can get some better photos taken with it, and work out what we're going to have for tea. And stop talking so these flies don't go in my mouth. But this breeze blowing, they're not as bad as I thought it'd be. We'll see what happens when the breeze stops. Then things might get interesting. I don't need to say anything. It's she's pretty ancient. 800 million years old. These rocks would have seen a few things, but we're going to head down here. There's a big old cave in here. It's been washed into the rock, and there's another one down around the corner, so we'll go and check them out. But we're down this riverbed, Brackena Creek. There must be some water that pumps down this when it rains. Look, Ma, home. It's, sun's coming up over that there, but we'll spin you around inside the cave of wonders and mysteries. A little bit of water still sitting down there at the bottom of the creek. There's wallaby crap here everywhere, so I'm guessing they use it to shelter in, which is why I'm not going to venture any further in. But I can imagine the locals would have sheltered in here as well at some stage. What a place. And to think this spot was going to be just a stay over for the night and not much exciting was going to happen, but it's definitely put on the show. I don't know if you can see up there. We've got our other caves and that up there. You can, if you're adventurous, you can climb up there, but I'm not going to do that. But it's pretty specky. Love it. I didn't bring my glasses though, so that sun's a bit fun, but yeah, up in there. That's the high water mark for the when you're staying on the side of the mountains or side of the river. So that's going to do us for. I should have said we're at the Teamsters camp, which is the second one in off the start of the Brackena Gorge track. So we are, yeah, that's where we are anyway. I should have said that when we got here, but there's 6 camp spots here. Only 3 of them had people in tonight. They all were booked, so I don't know, plans had made a change or cancellations or whatever else, but that's good. I had no neighbours, and old mate beside me, one camp down, he sort of parked in between 2 camps, and he didn't get anyone come in there last night either. So, but that's going to do it for here. We're going to go back and cook some brekkie, and then we've only got about 15 k's to go to our next camp. So I'm going to stay here as long as I can, have brekkie, do the dishes, that sort of thing, and then we'll wander around and see what Ackerman camp spot. That's the next one we're going to, which is just over that big Pride Rock looking feature. So let's go and get into it. Alright, let's get some bacon and eggs on before these flies get too out of control again for the day. Spray. Hopefully this wind doesn't play around with us too much. Just got some bacon in a container. No rubbish to take home, no rubbish to accidentally leave behind. Don't normally do this, it's only because we're going to be here for a little bit longer. Because we've got some time this morning to burn. That's the only reason I'm going to cook some brekkie. Normally just get on the road and worry about lunch. Got some nice truss tomatoes. We're going to cut one of these up. Get our eggs out while we're going. And as usual, I've got enough with me that could last a week, but it's alright. There'll be some left over when we get home. Might even go camping next weekend once I get home. Okay, tomatoes in. One important extra little bit. Bit of cracked pepper. A little bit of sea salt. That's just on the tomato, not on the bacon, obviously. It's salty enough as it is. Egg flipper. Ooh, that's a good noise. Try not to do that again. One egg in. Go away, wind. The first calf of the morning. It's 7:30, I think. Oh no, it's a neighbour. Yep. Neighbour's leaving. Must have scared him off. Yeah, while that's going, I'll turn that back to low. If you haven't got one of these, it's a little folding toaster. I've been using the 240 volt toaster on the power box in the car for a little while, but just doing the toast here next to your food. It's one less thing you have to carry, and that fits in the car a lot better than what a toaster. It's just Anko, I think it's a 500 watt toaster, so you barely notice it running on that power box, but it can take 7 or 8 minutes for it to toast, which is probably not the best. And normally with these toasters, I know I just touched it, but don't touch it. Just old cruiser. Wait for the wait until you see the smoke. Once the smoke starts coming up, then you know it's ready to turn. Another interesting thing too, while we're sitting there cooking, may as well have a little bit of chat at the same time. You often see people, I know, especially when I was doing all my research for Cape York and that, what do I need to do to my four-wheel drive to get in there? What do I need to do? What accessories do I need? The good thing about the Flinders is, camp next to me over there, they've got two Subaru Foresters, sort of 2012 to 2015 era, and there's a Volkswagen Golf or Polo, one of the little two-door hatchbacks there as well. I've seen like a 2016, 2017 Holden Barina, little four-door thing going past. There's been dudes on bikes. I've towed a van in there. The far camp, the other people that are here, they got one of them big dual axle Titan campers or Titan caravans, and yeah, you don't. To do the main Flinders tracks and get into these camp spots, if you have a bit of ground clearance, it's a plus. But for the most part, just don't make excuses. Get out and do it. That's what. That's the name of the game. Get out and do it without ripping off that popular shoe brand's slogan. Right, we're going last bit of toast here. I'm about to flip these eggs, and breakfast will be ready to serve. Rightio. So toast done. Cook your toast as you like. If you are one that doesn't like too much colour on it, just keep checking. Don't wait for the smoke. 1, egg 2, tomato. Stop, come back. Oh. Look at that. Fan-bloody-tastic. Cooked tomato and eggs. Tomato, bacon and eggs. I need a knife and fork, otherwise this isn't going to go very far at all. And I'm missing a fork. Someone's kept me a fork. No. Oh well. Look at that googie egg. Yeah. Just in time as the flies come in, so one thing I do need to add, something I picked up at work, is some nice relish from the Jugyong bakery where we drop bread and stuff off in my day job. This is a nice sweet relish, and at $12 a bottle, that's why I'm not putting a lot on. Oh, $9, $12, whatever it was, but fantastic product. common campground. Unfortunately, all the sites are full. My site's got a van parked in it, but there's 3 spots. Site 1, 2 and 3 have all got camper trailers parked in there. No cars there, all out driving, and camp's still set up. So off the website, 11 o'clock out of camp, but we've still got half an hour, so we'll see what happens there. But I wanted to just come for a walk through the trees here. All these little short pine trees reminds me of central New South Wales, but the ground is just like it's covered in coffee grounds. Just these tiny stones. There's no soil, it's just covered in these little rocks, and it just adds for or makes a real weird look. Another bike tourist, nice. And it's all just come off this rock here. So it's all real shaly stuff. But we've got some mountains up there. We're going to camp under. We should get a good bit of sunset on them, and there's another one up there that we're going to have a good look at from our camp. But yeah, when we can get into it, I suppose. So I might do some things. I've put this solar panel out because it only took us an hour to get here, so there's nowhere near enough time for the car to recharge the battery as is. But yeah, and the flies are still out. Up there, that's nice. That Bracken Gorge geological trail, that was great. If you ever come here just for something to do that. Fantastic spot. Bracken Gorge East Camp, not as viewy as what I was at Teamsters. So if you're going to stay somewhere in the gorge, Teamsters would be the more desirable spot, I think. Just a better view of the mountains. But anyway, I'm going to sit back here, find something to twiddle my thumbs to do, and I might pull this cap off this tyre and check this bearing for grease again, while we wait for last night's tents to turn up and get rid of the camper trail. So it's just gone 12 o'clock. Old mate, my camp spot turned up at about 11 or 11:15, and started packing up. So, as I said earlier, you're supposed to be out of your campsite by 11 o'clock, but it also says you're not supposed to be coming into your new campsite until 2 in the afternoon. So I did shit the bed and I am early, and that's understandable. It gave me time to sit here and have the solar panel on the front of the car charging, which has bumped the battery in the car up a little bit. I've just backed the van into site 2 now. I'm not going to set it up. I'm just going to leave it as it is, all locked up. And originally, like yesterday when I got into Bracken Gorge. I was going to park and then go and do a loop up Parachinina, whatever, the next gorge up. I was going to go up and do a loop around there, come back in Billman mine and historic homestead, that sort of stuff up there, and come back to the base. And then today I was going to park here and go out and go down Wapina Pound, the Skyview track on the station, cattle station down there. I was going to go have a look at that as well, but I'm not going to push fate because I'm by myself. I'm getting to where I need to go. Nothing's breaking, even though that rear tyre on the van is still squealing its head off. So I'm just sort of going to get to locations. But what I'm going to do now is, now the van's unhooked, it's a 20k run from here back out to the main road, to the Flinders Ranges Way. Plus, it's also Razorback Lookout. There's a couple other lookouts along that track as well. Basically 20k's. I just want to go and time it to see how long it takes to get out to the tar, have a bit of a look around and that, because tomorrow morning when we leave, we've got to leave early because it's going to be a big day to get to Broken Hill, if we still go Broken Hill. Or if we plan to get back to Victoria, it's going to be a big day to get down there too. So just going to go out and have a bit of an explore, go down here into, I'm going to do it every time, I'll have to pronounce it, Bungaroo Gorge. Can have a look at that, some of the rock escarpments down there. Go up the Razorback Lookout, have a look across to Wapina Pound from there, and out to the Flinders Ranges Way. Again, I've mentioned it before, I'm doing one mistake I made on the Cameron Corner track is making it a 5-part series, and obviously making one part for each day and just trying to pad that out with talking. So I'm trying to cut down on that, even though we're going to get these lengthy little talky segments in between montages. But for the most part, I just want to show you the beauty of the outback in Australia, show you other little things, and if I need to come in to comment on it or fill you in, inform you, whatever else, I'll do that. But the main thing of this 2-parter is just getting out to the Flinders Ranges, going as far west as I thought I'd ever go before in my life, and another car driving through camp. So yeah, anyway, and hopefully at the end of it all, I'll get a couple of people that watch it and enjoy it, and maybe inspired to go and do it themselves. But anyway, again, less talky. Let's get this thing into gear, and we'll head out Bungaroo Gorge to the Flinders Ranges Way and have a look at some of the more elevated sections of the Flinders. Also, there's one shot I need to get out there, and that's just after Razorback with it's a busy day today. On Mihima, when you go explore on it, you get a shot of that Bungaroo Gorge track as it drops down to the gorge, and you can see Wapina Pound in the background. I'll try and get a photo of that and put up here to show you, but that's what we're looking for, that elevated section of road. So anyway, talky over, let's go and get into it. Back on the stew train tonight. Where were we? Port Pirie. We done stew with the diced up veggies and a bit of roast pork and stuff I'd left over. Tonight we're basically just doing our stew again, but boiling some penne. I had some pre-made packets with about 130 grams. It wouldn't be kilos, yeah, grams of penne pasta. I've got 5 of those, just so I know we can set up 5 serves. But that's yeah, Ackerman Campground, not too bad. Site 2, Site 3 and Site 1 are the picks. I wouldn't do Site 4. Some dude walking up through the bush there in shorts and no t-shirt. Rightio. They're in a little Kia thing. Photo up here somewhere. Again, just you don't need a 4-wheel drive to do this. The amount of transit vans, 2-wheel drive sprinters, that sort of thing I've seen today. It's just corrugations. Corrugations are your biggest hurdle, and just watching the road, driving the conditions. A lot of places where there'll be a rock, a fault line, a wall of rock where it goes through the road where the grader can't grade. It's got to go up over it, and it'll be a bit of a hump. Or there's just a boulder in there that they haven't been able to grade over. They've got to sort of grade to it, and then water's washed it away. And it might be, there's some I've seen today about 6 inches out of the ground, just big boulder out of the ground. And if you hit that at 60k an hour, with tyre pressures down, you're probably going to crack an alloy rim now. Didn't mention this earlier, but I haven't touched any of my tyre pressures. The car's still sitting on 36 or 37 psi. Like the van's at 40. It's all marketing for accessory shops to go and buy tyre gauges and air compressors. If you're on the sand, yes, sand driving, lowering tyre pressures, expanding that footprint out, it's fine. 79 Series Cruiser, rough as guts, same as a bloody Kenworth, 90 Kenworth. It's Colorado's, it's coil around. You're not going to get any difference by dropping these tyres from 36 down to 25. It's just, there's no point. All you're doing is stopping on the side of the road and wasting an hour, 20 minutes, pumping air, tyres back up again. You do not need to do it at all. So I'm going to keep on stirring this penne pasta. Our neighbours are back over there at the King's setup. Our neighbours are back over here. Ackerman Campground. Interesting, I didn't mention earlier, but back over at Teamsters, 6 camp spots. I think you're allowed up to 6 to 8 people per campsite, which I don't know how that works, but and you've got 2 toilets there. Here you're allowed 4. There's 4 designated campsites, and you're probably allowed 6 or whatever per campsite, but there's only 1 long drop over there. Plus you got people, one of the local stations that do tours through here. Interestingly, the first tour bus that come in while I was waiting to get into here was just a Toyota Hiace, stock Hiace, although it could have had suspension under it. And then the Savo, when I got back, another tour come in, and it was like a 79 Series Troopy, V8 Troopy, so I don't know what would have been comfier. A 2-wheel drive Hiace that's meant to be on the blacktop out here in the dirt, or a Troopy with leaf rear end and bench seats in the back of it. But obviously they come in here as one of their points to stop in on the way back. Basically just using the toilets. Like 10 people got out and they all just fold through the toilet one at a time, which is not a good way to use a long drop. You sit there, someone wheeze, craps, next. Anyway, so I have I got the shower unit deployed on the back. We are going to have a shower tonight now that I've made room for it. And I know someone's going to say, but wait, you haven't shown us the van yet, only in video form and not a walk around. That'll come tomorrow night on the way home. We'll find somewhere, hopefully on the river, cancelling going to Broken Hill at this stage just because that rain's still forecast. I went for a drive out here back to the blacktop today and found phone reception again, and yeah, that rain, that 80% chance of 1 to 5 mils is still due for tomorrow, Arvo, Anzac Day, in Broken Hill, so there's no point going up there while it's wet, or if it's not wet, it might even just be heavily overcast. So we're going to steam back to Renmark, and then we might head back to Mildura and find somewhere between Mildura and Robinvale to spend the night, and that will be the final leg of the trip from there back to home. So the Flinders has been good. Definitely something I want to visit again in the future. Once I get that tyre fixed, or that wheel bearing / brakes, whatever's catching, whatever's dragging. I popped it off today. The grease is still in there. It's not discoloured or anything, so it's got to be brake drag. Even though when I left Port Perry, I unplugged the electric brake controller, so I had no trailer brakes whatsoever, and it was right until I got to Hawker, and they were smoking. Oh, not smoking, but they were too hot to touch, just about. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know electric brakes. The only other thing I can do is disconnect the magnet in there to stop them coming on, but I don't want to take the wheel off. So, and tomorrow, if it's wet, it's going to be cold, it's going to be raining, so hopefully that can keep the hub cold. But anyway, we are just waiting for this escarpment up behind us to get the last of the afternoon sun. We'll take a couple of photos, a couple of videos, and turn in for the night, because tomorrow is going to be a long day. Until then, guys, good night. Good morning, campers. We weren't delaying getting out of camp this morning. As you might notice, the sun's not up even though it's 8 o'clock. Got up and started making a coffee and noticed that there was no sun on the hills around me, and you couldn't quite tell in the pre-dawn light whether it was overcast or whether it was just the sky wasn't lit up yet. And if there's rain forecast for Broken Hill, it's probably coming from this direction. So it's overcast. There's a couple of spots of sunshine on the mountain range here behind me, but it disappeared pretty quickly and was a real golden yellow, which yeah, is not a good sign either. So we are packed up, bidding farewell to Ackerman Campgrounds in the Flinders Ranges. We've got a 20k trip here now out to the Blacktop on the Flinders Ranges Way, I think it's called, and that'll get us back into Hawker, and I'll refuel there, even though I didn't do near as much driving around here as what I'd planned to. But I'll take a photo of this over here. We're going to do a little bit of tourist stuff on the way out. If it rains, the road's rocky enough that you won't get bogged, but it's just all this dusty stuff on top. It's either going to get slippery or it's going to get stuck to your tyres and everything else. So oh yeah, cracking shot. I'll be back in a second. I'm going to say this is Bunyaroo Gorge. Definitely not the way that's pronounced, but anyway. Not as big and graceful as Brackena Gorge, but still pretty specky. I'm going to get a photo of that too. I'm going to be a goddamn photo bug on the way out. Oh, there's a roo there too. You get hit, bugger. Just look at the bend in the rock. What makes rock bend like that? Incredible force. But, oh, go back up. This is this side of the reef plate, whatever you want to call it. But it goes down under the road surface here. Behave, camera. And then it goes back up there, behind the van, back up that hill there. Not as graceful, but still, just the tremendous force that's put on the earth when things move underground. I even just see if I can zoom in. This gnarly old gum tree here, with barely any soil to grow out of. It's been able to grow and deform itself like that just to just to stay upright and stay rooted to the ground. But that's why I don't need to get myself in any of these photos. I can just show you video and the glory, the grace of Mother Nature, and not even worry about getting my ugly mug in it. So we'll get back in the car. We'll keep on heading out to the main road. And yeah, homeward bound. we're out of the national park now, well, out of Bunyaroo Gorge, or Bunyaroo Road. Just going past the turn off to Mapina Pound now, which looks like it's tar all the way into there too. We're still in the park, so I'm not going to be able to get the drone up here, but this massive plateau out to the right here, it's probably the main feature you can see from the ground level on this side and on the other side heading north on the Outback Way. I'll throw some footage up here on it because I'm not going to be able to do it justice. There's plane rides or plane flights over it. Each morning about 7 o'clock I've heard planes flying, obviously doing the sunrise, and then there's some that come in the afternoon, do sunset, and the odd one during the day. But just a massive rock formation. It's either a geological upthrust of rock that's lifted it up, because this would have been all ancient ocean one day, long ago. But yeah, it's either been pushed up by rock and then eroded away by time and water and the winds. But where are we? Well, we get to a lookout down here, so we'll get out and get some photos anyway. But same thing, you see the curve of the lines in the rock, the sediment layers in the rock. I would have known more. I knew a lot more about all this stuff when I was young, back when I was in love with dinosaurs and everything else, and everything rock and geology and everything else, and those dreams as a kid of doing something and realising the path to get there is well beyond your ability. But I must say I'm glad this is tar. I thought this would be dirt all the way back to Hawker, but how civilised we are. So again, I'm going to stop talking. We're going to head back probably about 40k to Hawker now, and we'll top up the fuel, and then we're going to work out what our next plan of action is. It is pretty grey out here, and there's some darker looking clouds to the south, but we probably got out of there at the best time. We only come across one car on the whole way out, and nothing come up behind us, so it was definitely quiet. We're right here next to these escarpment now, so I'm going to find somewhere to pull over. We've got a bit of a clear view. I can't see anything to look out. Oh yeah, it's looking that way. We'll get out down here and have a look anyway. Peen the pound. So we've just got fuel in Mildura, $1.84.1, so still about the average of what I've been paying across the whole trip. The most expensive obviously being Hawker at $1.99.8, I think it was, nearly $2 a litre, so not too bad. We're averaging back down to 15.7 on that leg, mostly flat, mostly downhill, a couple of towns in between to stop at, and that sort of thing. But anyway, it's getting late. It's nearly 5 o'clock. Even with the going backwards in time, 30 minutes for the time zones hasn't helped, and now I've drove past a couple of caravan parks. Unfortunately, most of the ones in Mildura are on the river, and you look down and all you can see is lines of boat trails and cars, and it is still the Anzac long weekend, obviously, so we didn't really plan well for this. There is a little parking, there's a couple of parking bays about 30-40 k's south or east of Mildura along the Riverine Highway. I know, the Stewart Highway. That is what we're going to aim for. They've got toilets. I'm in a van, so hopefully you can free camp there without being self-contained. So we're going to go and try it anyway because it's getting too late in the day. I had thought about pushing all the way to home, going off the GPS. Nearly 5 o'clock now, five and a bit hours, so about 20 to, by the time I stop for fuel, going to be about 10:45 at night. I'm not a night person. I'm dead tired now. It's only nearly 5 o'clock. Normally climbing into bed for work about this time of the day. So we're going to head out, find this parking bay. It has been downpouring into Mildura. Luckily, I think the brakes have cooled down the van and the squealing has they're mostly gone as well. I know with trucks, when you get squeal and brakes in trucks, it's because there's a build-up of dust, brake dust, or even just road dust in the drums, and that's what the squealing is. So I'm guessing when I first come over and had to wind them brakes off on day one to carry full, it was just enough that the brakes got a bit of dust in the drum, and obviously that hasn't got out since leaving there, and that's what the squealing is. Because now that they've gotten wet and there's water got in there, because I've been aiming for every puddle I can find for the most part, just to get water on it and cool it down for the main thing. But now we've moved into Broken Hill, and I can pretty much put my hand, it's dried, the temperature's warm enough that it's dried the drum out from all the rain we've just come through, but you can still put your hand on it and it still feels a bit warm. So if it wasn't for that in the solar, the trip would have been perfect. Just those two little things, and you just constantly worry every time you slow down or stop and you hear that squeal, you just think, here we go, is this going to be the time where the bearing just locks up or something happens? But anyway, too much talky again. So we're going to head out, see what these parking bays look like, and pull up for the night. It's not going to be nothing special. I'm just going to pull up. There is more rain coming, so chances are it'll be raining when I get there. Just awning out, boil some water. It's either going to be soup, or I've got some little footy franks. I've got an 8 or 10 pack in there. I might just boil them up with some sauce and just do it quick and simple, griller style. So that's enough for me for today. I'll be back in the morning, and yeah, we'll probably talk once we get to Deniliquin to get fuel or something like that, or Balranald. We'll see. But anyway, Brad out. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow. we go on the home stretch. Last night we stayed about halfway between Mildura and Balranald. We found Malleefowl rest area. Now there was signs there of no tents, no camping, but I'm pretty sure you're still right when you're self-contained in a motorhome or caravan to stay there. I was the only one there and no one moved me away, so it was a bit of a stealth camp. We got in there at 5:30 just as it got dark and just as the rain got heavier, so wasn't much for tea. It was just some frozen footy franks out of the freezer and boiled them up in some water and ate them with some sauce, and that was it. And then this morning got going about 4:30, 4:45, and now here we are, 10:30, and we're going to be home. So to recap, what a trip. Even though I've been trying to get to Cape York for the last 4 or 5 years, in the lead up to the Cape trip was always going to be a trip out to Birdsville and the Flinders, just as a step up. 3,000k round trip, a bit of a little test before you go and do the 8,000k round trip up to the Cape. But I'm so glad, so glad I got out and was able to do it. It's just that Anzac and Easter long weekends button up to each other, only having to miss 3 days of work. It was just, yeah, it was fantastic. Not having solar working on the caravan was an issue. I never really got close to running out of power. If I'd stayed off the grid for those first 2 nights instead of caravan parks, we may have had issues. I've had yesterday, once we left Ackerman campground, I had the van plugged into the car, but it wasn't taking or charging off 12 volt from the car either. So at the moment, the only way I can charge that van is just to plug it into the 240, which I'll be doing as soon as I get home. But that, and just that wheel, that rim or that brake drum getting hot the whole time, dragging that brake. Funnily enough, I don't know if it was the rain yesterday, the water on it, something maybe tripped the electric brakes. There might have been a short. I don't know, but it hasn't been warm the whole time. I got out to Nilliquin fuel, stone cold. Got out at Finley to get a drink out of the fridge, stone cold. So that is a mystery. Maybe something they can find once they pull the wheel off on the dealership on Monday. It's got to go back in and have its table fitted to it. I didn't do a walk around the van. We're going to do that after Monday. I've already told the finance company if I tow it in there on Monday and they don't want to fix this stuff under warranty, then I'll be leaving the keys there. We'll see what happens with that. Frets always go a long way. But yeah, be thinking about this trip for a long time. What's next? It might not be something in the van. We might go away in the van and I'll do a full walk around of it then for you. But also keen to throw the mattress back in this and go back up into the bush as well. And I'm not going to be towing the van on every trip. And while the temperature's still warm, we've still got 25, 26 degree days here in the high single digits into the early teens for nights. I'd love to go away on the bike for a night. I haven't been away on the bike all year, which April this year. So that is definitely something I want to do before winter hits. Even if it's just throw the swag on the back and go up and cocoon in it somewhere overnight. But I promise it won't be so far between drinks. We'll get to the next video soon. The heat wave's over. Got the van, there's no excuse if it's raining. We're going to use it a lot. If I keep it. So look out, that'll probably be the next video will probably be a bit of a walk around the van, show you the cross track 13 footer or 13.5 foot. And yeah, I'm going to pull in here, I'm going to have a shower, pick the wife up and one of the puppy dogs, and we're going to turn around and head straight down the river and spend Saturday night down the river since I'm home so early. But that's it, guys. I'm home. Flinders Ranges trip done and dusted. What do we work out at the end? 2689 k's 0.9, so almost 2690, which is shorter than the 3500 if we included Birdsville, but we can only dream. So that's it. I've been Brad for the Budget Adventure Show, and we'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye. Hello budget campers, Brad from the future here. We are back from our trip. No caravan hooked up behind the car. We haven't got it back yet. It is still in at the Jayco dealer in Albury, getting some stuff done to it. Luckily, all getting done under warranty, so very happy with that. I'm already into it. We're a week later, and the mattress is back in the car. There's some stuff in the back of the car. All my usual camping stuff's back in the car, and we're going to go camping again this weekend. Unfortunately, part one has we've only got about 80 views on that, so hopefully that comes up a little bit more. This being part two, a little bit longer, actual Flinders Ranges travel, so hopefully a few more views out of that. But yeah, anyway, as I said earlier, I'm doing this for me and the memories, and not for the views, because obviously the views aren't paying for fuel to do this trip. So I suppose the biggest question now, and if you're still watching, it's because you enjoy the channel, you like it, you subscribed, whatever else. I know there's a few of you from your work channel watching. Hi guys. I'm going to go camping. I'm going to do a separate, much like me last year, I'm just going to go and find somewhere to camp for the night and just do a quiet debrief from the Flinders Ranges track. So if there's any questions you have, anything I showed that I didn't comment on, anything I talked about you don't understand, any locations I went to you want more information about, anything you can think of to encourage conversation, let me know. We're going to do a little bit of a Q&A next episode, and hopefully, yeah, look back on the Flinders Trek. Would I do it again? Yes, without thinking about it too hard. I'd love to do it on the bike. Probably not that bike. There were a few blokes out there on bikes doing it. Met a couple of blokes at Hawker getting fuel out there doing it on bikes, which was great to see. It would be pretty spectacular as long as the weather stayed good. If the moisture come in, it'd be a little bit less pleasant. But that's going to do the Flinders Trek part 2. I don't think there's anything else to add. No, what a trip. I am going to release, much like I did with the Cameron Corner track, I had the GoPros set up for the entire Brackena Gorge loop and the Bunaroo Gorge, traversing that as well. So what I'll do in the coming weeks, probably after, depends, might be before the next trip debrief, it might be after, it'll be in the next couple of weeks anyway, we will get the full unedited woodcutter, the full unedited videos of going through those gorges. I'll stitch that together. It'll probably be about half an hour, 40 minutes long each one, just so it's not sped up. You can just see the beauty of those gorges, because they are spectacular. I wish you could fly a drone in there. I didn't. I said I wouldn't, not going to break the law, so look forward to those a little bit later. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for coming on the trip with me, and we're getting more and more noise. Again, if you've got any questions, let me know for the next video. We're going to go camping. Once the van gets back, we will go out, we'll do a spotlight on it, I'll show you all over it, because apart from those couple of problems, it was an enjoyable experience. That and the few odd thousand people at Renmark, but we'll get to that as well. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.